G'day all, welcome back again to Dad vs Son, and we're about to go on with episode 2, and it is the Western faction's turn. So let's see what they have got, and in their planning they've got a 3 attack for infantry and armour. At the moment they've got armour here, mechanised infantry, and armour here, the 8th Army and the 1st Army. The only other forces they've got are over here in the Middle East and in Cairo, but they're both conscript troops and infantry, so they can't do anything with them with that. Up here, we have me bumping things and knocking stuff over. Okay, so we've got a movement and 2 attacks for motorized, airborne and armor, so we could use that. We've got a recruit, so 4 infantry or 2 motorized, and we have a partisan warfare. So there's a couple of things we can do so that you're aware of what I'm thinking. Okay, so what we could do is use the straight out attack out of planning. We'd only carry out the 1 attack, and that would be 8th Army, 8th British here against the 1st Italian here at Burat. And we've got air superiority, which is great, and everything else, so that's not a problem. But that seems like a little bit of a waste to me at the moment. So if we look at the next one, which is a deploy and attack, a move and attack, that's 3 move. What we could do is move this guy, 1st British, 3, back to Algiers. At least then he's in a port, a port city, which give him a bonus if he was attacked by 5th Panzer, because at the moment 5th Panzer is 2 to his 1, plus their elite with the star. So yeah, he's sort of sitting there out swinging in the breeze. So we could move him back, and then we could attack with 8th Army against there. The next thing we could do is recruit. So we have a couple of detachments, and we have the 5th US that are in our force pool. So we could bring this guy on into the US at either 1, 2, 3 or 4, or whatever else. We've got a French detachment and an American attachment, which we could bring on. We also have the 1st Canadian, which we could bring on. But again, at the moment, I think what we need to do is to try and tidy this up a little bit. And the last one would be partisans. Sorry, the other thing I was going to say was with the recruit is we could use the mechanised on that, in which case we could bump 1st British up, and we would simply have to go through the because it's reinforcements, we'd have to go through the interdiction phase and stuff like that. But I think we're going to do the move attack. We're going to do this one. So that's a 3-2. That's for 9. So we'll come up here. Still not far enough. Boop. There we go. So we go up 9. We go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And we have the event. We've passed that. Right. So let's come down here. We're going to do our move. First British will go 1, 2, 3 back into there. Now, I thought about moving him just up into the mountains. The trouble is if I put him in the mountains during snow, basically that means that they're not really in supply as such, and I can't bring any reinforcements in on them. So I'd rather do that to start with. And then we're going to do our attack down here, 8th British against the 1st Italian. So let's come over to our track and run through it. Now, West has got no card they can use, and we have one card for the which we could use for the Brits. Did give them a +1, so we'll just see how things are looking first. Righto, so first up we have 4 for the Brits. No flankers, no shock unit, +1 per armoured unit in the snow. Well, we're fair because we're in Libya. So +1 per non-German armoured unit in fair. So that's +1 to 5. More elite badges, no elites. Conscript badges, none. No German combat unit, at least 1 Western combat unit, takes us up to 6. Defender is in a city, so we go down 1. He's got 1 strength, so down another. Other than the city, it's a clear hex, so that's that. So if we look at now, nobody has a headquarters card to play or anything else, we know that. If we use our card, we would get a +2. If we want to, air superiority is a +2 in fair. And that's it. So if we use the card, we'd have a +4. But I think I'd rather hold that for if we're attacking Afrika Korps or 5th Panzer. Going that way. So that's what we've got. We've got the 5 column with a +2. Dun, 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 dun. Western faction. 5 column +2. And we have a 7 +2 is a 9. So if we look at that, 5 column for a 9 is 3. Now, he can take half rounded up, so he could take 2 of them as a retreat, but the trouble is he's only a 1 strength anyway, so he's going to die. Blah, blah, and we will advance into Burat. And I can get rid of that. Go away. And that is the end of the Western faction. And we need to do the event now. Okay. Coming back over. So this goes away to there. And this comes down. And we lose our Western air. Soviet reinforcements, 1 armoured. Okay. Now, they have a shock, and a shock up there, and that's it. So we're looking at 1 armour. Now, we could armour this bloke up. So we've already got lots of armour there. We've got no armour to the south, and we've got no real armour to the north. We've got a little bit in the centre there. Well, this is where we're going to be punching. So I think what we might do is actually bump this bloke up. I know I'd like to bring him over, but this gives me a... what's he on? He's on 2. That gives me a 3 then. So we'll do it like that. And then we draw the next card. And it is High Command. So the Soviets get another plane. So they've got 3 now. Okay. Where do we want to put this one? So these 2 are going to give us their superiority here, unless the Germans get another one. So I think we want to go up sort of this way. If we put it here, 1, 2, 3, 4 covers off to up here. And if we've got something happening here, 2, 3, 4, then, you know, we've got at least 2, maybe 3 into this area. So that's going to give us air superiority there. The next thing is the Western faction gets their air back. So we're going to put it down with the 8th Army at Burat. So down here, back with the 8th Army. So it's actually come forward a couple, which is good. And that'll cover us right up to Tripoli now, which is fine as well. And then everybody gets a card. Righto, so the West gets a card, and they get the Big 3 Conference. Play at the start of any Western order. Us and the Soviets gain an armour. Us and the Soviets gain 2 infantry. Or us and the Soviets each roll on the partisan table. Okay, well, that's something. Next up is OKH, who's still got their light artillery card, and they get naval assets. Play at the start of your Axis order. Relocate a friendly unit in a port to another friendly port on the same sea area, no interception, or lose 1 initiative and draw a card. So this is a good one for a little bit later if we decide to start pulling Afrika Korps or 5th Panzer out, back up into Sicily and so forth, or Italy. So 5th Panzer could come, if we had them here, could come over into Sicily. And then, so they could come into either Palermo or into So So that's a good one as well. Very handy for later. OKW in the west gets their first one. They get light tanks. So when they combat with the Axis, they'll get a die roll modifier, which is good for them. And Soviets last get a tank corps. So again, they're going to get a DRM, which is good. Now, I think that gives them 6 cards now. Yeah, it does. Okay, so that is that. That's 15 minutes. Not much to say, not much to do. We've got 1 German air, yes. We've got 1, 2, 3 there, and we've got 1 Western air, and we're good to go. So we'll call it quits there, and then we will come back and do OKH over here on the Eastern Front and see what we can do to beef up our stuff. It'll be interesting to see whether they beef something up or start looking at trying to kick some butt. So take care, and I'll see you next time. Bye for now.